It's such a great pleasure for me today to have the honor, a real honor, to speak to our mayor here in Luton. What a fantastic opportunity it is today to talk to you, and what a pleasure to be able to call you my dear friend, Honorable Mayor of Luton, Maria Lovell. Such a fantastic opportunity. I'm really, really pleased, as you know, as we were chatting about earlier on. It's so rare that we have women in such high positions and Black women, women of color. So it's always a sense of pride and honor to celebrate our powerful women in high office. And I just want to welcome you on the show and thank you for really being so generous to give us your time, to really take time out to support our cause and to be an example that other aspiring young professional women like myself and yourself and other women in the community who would like to really strive to be more, to do more, and to achieve more can really see other role models and examples. And this is the real ethos of this program. There's so many challenges that we face as women. There's so many challenges that we face as women of color. And it's really a time when I think this program is so opportune that we can give a message of hope, a message of encouragement, and really celebrate our women who have achieved a lot in their own professional career. So tell us a little bit more about you. I know we have something from in common based on our roots.
Yeah.
And I remember when we met first, we were just attracted and drawn to each other. And I said to you at the time, wow, I feel so connected to you. And then we found out you were
Yes.
from Ghana. And I said, oh my God, that explains it. Because my roots, every time I'm connected to someone, I'm from the Caribbean, but anytime I'm just naturally connected and drawn towards somebody from the African continent and they tell me where they're from, it's always, always a Ghanaian. So I am just so convinced, that this is really where my roots, the coffee roots
Yeah.
came from. So tell us about that history, that side of your background being from the African continent of Ghana.
Um, thank you, Doctor. Thank you, Sis. I'm honored as well to be here, talking to you. It's been long coming,
Yeah.
as you're aware from our past conversations and even, what you've just mentioned when we first met as well. And I remember that day quite so vividly, our very first interaction and, conversation. And as you say, that we were just drawn to each other. So many things have happened since then,
Yes.
into my journey to find myself, here as Mayor of Luton. And I was born in Ghana, Ghana in West Africa. I'm the youngest of three siblings, where I grew up and schooled until my parents sent me over to the UK, as they do, to continue with my studies. Reluctantly, I came, and during my childhood, I've always wanted to do law, but destiny had, other plans for me. After a good few years later, I found myself, in politics. I've come. It's been a long journey, a long, hard, drawn journey. Sometimes that, we tend to forget, where we have come from. But I think that's very important. Not looking into the past, but then remembering the past positively, as to how you have got to where you are.
Yeah.
I believe that that it keeps me grounded, and it gives me humility as well, and thankful to God, for carrying me over these years and to find myself here, because it wasn't planned. I never ever imagined to find myself in this position, and not that I didn't think I was capable of.
Yeah.
Then I didn't think it was ever going to be possible with all the challenges that we all face as women and as Black women, women of color. So there's always something out there, you know, that's going to, you know, throw you back, you know, discourage you, you know, negative things that you come across constantly, daily, that you need to deal with. So here I am. I'm in childhood. I said English was not my first language. I learned to speak English.
Wow.
Yes, schooling in Ghana until I came over here to continue my studies. So my career has been, I worked in public sector in Luton, and then I got a job interview in London, you know, which, you know, was very quite strange how that worked, but, you know, I said, you know, that was destiny. I found this magazine on my manager's desk one day, and they were recruiting for work in London, in Whitehall. So I just, you know, more telephone calls than not emails. So, you know, I called and, you know, got sent the application form, and then went for the interview. And I had the interview in number 10.
Wow.
Downing Street. Downing Street.
Wow.
Yes. And you know, it was so surreal when I had my interview letter, you know, to go into London for the interview. And I remember when I got to Westminster Underground Station, I stopped a black cab and showed him the address that this is where I was going to. And he looked at me, and it was a white cab driver. You know, later on, I realized why he gave me that look, because little did I realize that Downing Street was just like 2 minutes around the corner.
Oh dear.
But because I didn't know where I was in London, I got in the cab anyway. Just went down and he said, you know, this is where you're coming. So I'm just around the corner. Anyway, I went up to the police, to the security, told them I had an interview, and they just took one look at me, and I knew what they were thinking, because, you know, I was quite used to, you know, that kind of, you know, behavior or that look.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
You know, he said, you have an interview here? And I said, yes, sir. And he said, can you show me your interview letter? So I took the letter out of my handbag and showed it to him. He read it again. He gave it to the other security, his colleague, to read it as well. And then he said he needs to verify this, so he's going to make a phone call. So, well, he was on the phone, and I heard the person on the other side, you know, that it was confirmed that, yes, we are expecting her. So, yeah, they opened the gates of Downing Street for me.
Wow.
For the first time. I've always seen it on the news, on TV, and here I was.
What year was that?
Gosh, I remember 2000, about 2007. 2000, yeah. And I was so shocked. I couldn't believe it that I was, you know, walking down the cobbled streets of Downing Street. Anyway, I went and had my interview after calming down, because I needed to get back to
ground yourself.
I calmed myself down and you know, went through the interview, you know, which I was successful, and then, you know, got a job in Whitehall. So there I was for a number of years, and I got transferred to working in the minister's private office. So I was working as a diary manager, you know, for the parliamentary minister shadow cabinet. So yeah, which was, you know, which was really good. And I was there for a number of years, and then I was transferred to work in Watford on secondment in the complaints department, where I was for about 2 years. And, you know, because there was a backlog, you know, of a number of complaints, and within the time that I was there, we were able to clear the backlog, and, you know, even, you know, went on to get an award, you know, for the team, for all the hard work, you know, that we had put in. And then my mom's health deteriorated. My mom was in her 80s then. Her health deteriorated. So, which started, affecting, me at work, as well. So in the end, I stayed home to look after her. And I looked after her for 13 years.
Wow.
Until she passed away in 2018.
Wow.
So, I mean, during that time, I was, I gave up, I gave up everything. I gave up everything to be at home, had to forget about self, to concentrate on looking after her. It was it was a difficult decision, but it was difficult, and it wasn't difficult because, I'll do it all over again.
I have been there, so I know what I know exactly what you've been
yeah,
through.
yeah.
I know exactly what you've been
yeah. So I do have a lot of love and passion for carers, especially, carers who are not paid carers, carers who look after loved ones.
Yeah.
I think it's a really big sacrifice of love.
That,
that they do, and they need to be acknowledged and acknowledged and appreciated more often than we do currently. So my career had to be put on hold, and looking after my mom, and because my mom had been a very strong influence in my life, in my upbringing. I lost my dad quite earlier on. So, mum has just been the matriarch. She's been the father and the mother, and, she's been everything, to us. And me being the youngest as well. So was the last to leave home. And we were very close. My mum and I, we had a love affair. That still, continues even, after she's gone. So we had a strong bond, and she influenced my life, so much. And I think that is where I get my the spirit from, of determination and wanting to achieve, and resilient, and all the positives. I believe in my life, not the negative ones, but all the positives. I believe that with my mom's influence for me to get to where I am. So I gave up looking after her for such a long time. I just had to forget about the world outside, and it was just all about her, giving back what she gave me. And culturally, we also have this, that when your parents look after you, for you to have your first teeth, you look after them to have their last teeth.
Yeah.
So, it culturally it is expected of you, to do that. But then again, it's a choice that some people, do not
take. It's a different tradition. I think from where we come from, we sort of have that ingrainedness. And I had the very same experience when my mom was in her latter years. She had the diabetic coma, and my siblings who lived abroad, because I was at home at the time.
Yes.
I was working. I am the last in the family, and I was the only one at home with her. My siblings came home, and when they saw her, they said, "Oh no, you need to put her into a care home." And I'm like, "Why? Why should she go in a care home when I'm there?"
Yeah.
But that is how it is in the Western world. I guess the lifestyle is different. People are busy moving around, and they would have had to, like you did, give up the career.
Yes.
But, I said, no, I'm not putting her in a care home, and I'm here. And I had to make the sacrifices as well. But the blessing comes. I'm waiting for you to get to the blessing, because the blessing comes. I believe my life today is for that time I sacrificed.
Yes.
Doors open for me so wide. And sometimes I'm wondering, but what's happening? And then I think, my mom, she's looking over me.
Yes.
She is looking over me.
Yes.
So I can relate so much to your story.
Yes. I mean, what you just said now is almost you telling my story as well.
Yes.
About blessings and my mom, and I completely. I trust in God, as my faith, but I do believe that, whatever good, the blessings that coming into my life now is nothing that I have done, but the sacrifice, of life and of love, for my mom, is what, is the reward. It's like reaping the reward.
Yes, certainly.
Yeah, because during those years, they were very desolate years. And, there were days when, it got to me, it affected me as well. Socially, I couldn't really socialize much. And there were so many things that I thought, oh, I'd wanted to do that. Oh, I think I could do that. But, I think again that, oh, no, you can't, because of that responsibility. And, I believe that my mom could see through, my bad days, and, she would encourage me, and she would say, don't worry, don't worry, that you can't do all that again. You can't do all that again. Don't worry. I know that, and then sometimes she blamed herself, that if it wasn't for me, that you're caring for, I know what you're capable of, I know what you can do, but, God will reward you. She was always thanking me and saying that, God will reward you, God will bless you, God will reward you. And I believe that's really, what's happened, because when she passed away in 2018, I was heartbroken. I was so heartbroken.
Yeah.
And grief and the pain, was so raw, because she was everything. Mom was everything. She was everywhere, to talk to seek advice, that she would encourage you. She was my biggest, fun and cheerleader. Everything, that I could talk to her about everything. She'll advise me, she'll, strengthen me. And we had deep conversations, about her life as well, because sometimes she used to say to me that, you and I, your life so mirrors, my growing up, and I can always see myself in you. And there were so many things that I also wanted to do that, I couldn't do then. But I really want to encourage you not to give up. Not to give up. Sometimes I feel that you're losing your fire, and I don't want you to give up. I don't want you to give up. There will be an answer. So this brings me to this part of my life in 2018. But before then, even in the time that I was looking after mom, I was still carrying on, because mentally I needed to keep myself stimulated. So I started doing my charity work. I founded the Ghana Society in 2006, and we took part in Luton International Carnival to represent the African community, which was missing in the carnival. We had most of the other communities in Luton, except the African community. So I thought there was a gap here. And, this was something that would be good, to showcase our culture. So that's what I took on, myself, to set that up with some of the students at the University of Bedfordshire then, University of Luton, I think it was. So yes.
I remember them making such an impact on me the year before I met you, because when I met you and I found out that about the Ghana Society, and I'm like, oh my God, I cannot believe you were the person who found that, because when I came through to Luton that year and they were on the street, they just had everybody going.
Yes.
They just had everybody going, and I was really impressed with them being on the UK Centre of Carnival.
Yes, yeah.
And seeing them, and then when we got to know each other, and he said to me, oh, that's your group. I was like, it's possible.
Yes, we can't wait for the carnival to come back. They were really good days, really good days. So that's what I got myself involved in, and then doing other cultural events and exhibitions, and just promoting the African cultural heritage, for people to know about us as well, who we are, people, because I feel, there was so many, myths about, the African, mostly, negative, as a people, and obviously, linking it with the tragedy of the slave trade as well. Didn't always, put us in a very good light, especially, with the Caribbean community.
Yeah.
So all things that slowly, like through, these events and, learning about the African history and the Caribbean history, that we'll be able, to
build that gap.
Move that gap and that historical gap that had been created, for us to move on. So it doesn't, it doesn't affect the next generation as well, because I feel that holds us back as a people, because the power is divided, the African and the Caribbean. And, I believe that, that if we are united, as one people, which we are, from Africa, because that's the motherland, that's where we are from, accept it or not, that strengthens us, as a people, as a race, than the division, that, we have. But I think that we're slowly getting there, and I believe it's much better, than before. I would say that going back 10 years, that we are in a better place, as a, in a community, as a race, that Black people, we all getting awoken, by the issues.
Yes, certainly.
The
world is going for a shift, and it's because of all the knowledge, all the technologies. People are more educated, people are more informed. You don't just get knowledge from what people say to you, you do your own research. So the newer generation is really taking their own opinion and perspective on things, rather than just what is being fed to them.
Exactly. So so that was what I got myself involved in, and then working within the community as well, to the grassroots of the Luton community. Luton's very super diverse, as you know. I mean, bringing all, trying to work with all the different faiths and cultures and everything, to promote community cohesion. So with all that background, took me into the next stage, of my life, but which didn't happen until my mum passed away. Up until that time, I was still, involved with the Ghana Society and doing all the charitable, fundraising events, and then, community development as well. So after my mum passed, that void and going through grief, and I didn't think I could survive it. How bad, I was. I was in a really bad place. After a few months, after nearly a year, in that same year the mum passed, let me go back a little bit. Before she passed, been speaking to friends who, were persuading me to join, to go into politics and, join the Labour Party. So I was thinking, no, that I'm not ready for it. And, which happened before mum passed. And I remember having this conversation with her one afternoon, and I told her, Mum, that I'm thinking so-and-so has spoken with me about, applying to become a councillor. But, I don't think that, I can do it at this time. I said, how am I going to do that? And have with my caring responsibilities as well. And besides, that I totally just switched off. I didn't want anything, to interfere with my caring duties for mum. So, she lay there quietly looking at me. And then I remember she said, you never know. You never ever know. So I would say to you that send the application in. And you never know. She said, you never know what God will do. So I said, okay. So a few days later, she came back to and asked me, have you sent the application form? And I said, I will, Mum, I'll do it. And then, you know, she kept pressing on and kept pressing on. Anyway, eventually, you know, reluctantly, I just went to the computer and I just sent it off, submitted it. Not long after my mum passed away. So, you know, when she said you never knew, I mean, that on reflection, I realized that she knew she was going. She just didn't have that conversation with me, but she knew that
the time was drawing near.
Yeah, the time was drawing near. She wanted me to have something to do.
Yeah.
She wanted, you know, she wanted to get me back on the road.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that was her way of, you know, pushing me.
Yeah.
You know, to say that get on with your, you know, get on with it and get on with your life. How I look at that conversation in a totally different, with a different understanding. I didn't understand it then. Even getting annoyed because, you know, she kept, you know, having a go at me to just get the forms and just submit it. So I got shortlisted, you know, and went through the selection process and was successful, and there was a selection panel, and I got successful at that as well, and became the candidate elect for Leagrave Ward in Luton. So there were 3 councillors, so 3 Labour councillors. So yeah, the election came, and by God's grace, I got through. And I remember that moment so vividly. It was bittersweet because of where I found myself, you know, in the same year that my mum passed away, when I had lost all hope, and I was helpless, grieving. You know, I thought my whole world had come to an end. And, you know, here I was, you know, being given another new lease of life, and, you know, new opportunity, you know, to do something, you know, on an even much higher,
bigger scale.
Yeah, bigger scale, you know, than what I had given, you know, what I had left, that I felt that I had lost. So, you know, I'd lost everything. So I remember running out of the Inspire village where the votes were counted, and I just felt, I said I have to tell my mom, because she would have been the first person I would have called to let her know. So I ran out into the car park, and she was buried at the Vale, so which is just opposite. And I said I knew she could hear me. I didn't even care. I just stood in the car park, and I just screamed, and I said, "Oh, mom, I made it through."
Oh.
I was crying and, you know, just screaming in the car park. And yeah, I went mad for a little bit, and then, well, composed myself, and, you know, had to come back and, you know, give, you know, my acceptance speech and all of that. So it was very surreal.
Yeah, it's like I can feel the whole emotion of the time.
I was so sad that, you know, I couldn't tell my mom, you know, that.
I see why I was drawn to you. I mean, we have so much in common. A lot of times when I achieve things, and I called my sister last night on the phone because I was marking the students' work, and in there, one of the students quoted me for a book that released this year. And I was like, why is she quoting me? I've told them already not to quote my lectures in the class because, you know, then when I read what she said, it's actually from the book. So I started to laugh, and I'm like, oh my God. It's like I couldn't, although I do the books, but I could not, you know, that accepting of who we are and where we are.
Yes.
Instantly, I was like, why is she quoting what I said in the class? And then when I had to look again and realize, no, she has the date on the book and everything. I called my sister, and I had the same thought. I'm like, oh, mommy is not even here to see. No, the students that I'm teaching are quoting me from a book that I've written.
Yes.
You know, these are moments we just wish our mom was there, that they've labored so much to make us who we are today. And we can share that moment. So I can feel you. I can really feel your experience.
Yeah. I was, and it's difficult, you know, for people to understand. And I think that you have to go through it.
Yes.
You can't even imagine it. I could never imagine, I could never have imagined my life without my mom.
Mm.
It always scared me, you know, before she even passed away. And she used to tease me. She used to say, "Oh, I see that you don't like talking about death." every time I try to talk to you about death, you know, I see that you're not ready to listen. She used to say that to me a lot.
Mm.
And you know, she said, why the fear? Why are you afraid? I'm not going to be here with you forever, you know. And I'll say, "Oh, Mum, stop it, you know, stop it." And I'll say, "Yes, I'm fearful of death, and not ready to talk about it."
We are human.
Yes, yeah.
We are indeed human.
And then, you know, finally one day, you know, we had that conversation. I pulled myself together because there were conversations that I wanted to have with her.
Mm-hmm.
You know, what she would like, because my mum can be quite fussy as well. So I wanted to get it right, and from her own words. So, you know, we had that conversation, and boy, did that help me, you know, when the time came.
Yeah.
Then, you know, I knew everything. It was almost like, you know, that she was there, you know, reminding me that, you know, I told you I wanted to wear my pearls, you know, I told you I wanted this. So it made it easier. I wasn't making those decisions for her that, you know, "Oh, I hope she likes it." You know, I knew she would, because she had told me that this is what she wanted to wear, you know, and all of that. So yeah, I coming back to my election, and it was a bittersweet day, because, as you say, that this was the moment that I wanted to share it with her. And but I believe that I did. I believe she heard me. I believe she was with me.
We are all connected.
Yes, yeah. And so I became a councillor in 2nd May 2019, which was just a year after my mom had passed.
Oh, wow.
Yes, yeah, my mom passed away on 7th May 2018, and became a councillor on 2nd May 2019.
Yeah.
You know, my life just sped on from there.
Yeah.
Because in becoming the councillor, I was immediately in June the following, immediately 24 hours later or 48 hours later, I was nominated as deputy mayor as well.
Wow.
That happened very, very quickly.
Wow.
Yes, within days, you know, my whole life had changed, you know, from 13 years caring for my mom, losing my mom, you know, going, you know, into depression and grief, and thinking my life was over, you know, because you're looking at your age and, you know, and all of that as well. I felt that I'd lost the zeal.
And this story is so important for other women, because these are all issues that we face with. These are all challenges that we have to deal with as women, that men don't have to sacrifice. And there's very few of them have to sacrifice the career for family. Usually it's the woman who has to take up the slack of being carer for all the kids, for the older generation. This is not unique to most women. So your story is so powerful for other women going through the same experience. You know, there is life after that.
Yes,
there is
life. Yes, there is life. Indeed, there is life. And you know, going back to my mom's words, that, you know, you never ever know.
Yeah,
was so true, because I never, you know, I didn't dream it.
Yes.
I'm a Christian, and, you know, I believe and trust in God, you know, but I never, I couldn't have imagined, you know, what was to happen, you know, just months later after mom passed away, and all that I had was going on, you know, in my life, and, you know, the challenges and the negatives, and, you know, even finding somewhere else to live, and, you know, going through all of that process, and, you know, sorting out financials and all of that, you know, thrown at you, and whilst you're grieving, you know, what's difficult.
Yes.
And you know, well, we lived together, and, you know, seeing her everywhere, walking into her bedroom, and the room was empty. and, you know, all her favorite things, you know, lying around. And, you know, that also, you know, just showed me, you know, how, you know, fragile life was.
Yeah.
And full of vanity, as we say, that, you know, it all didn't matter, you know, it was all there, but the one person that I wanted to be there wasn't there. But, you know, she'd gone and left all that, you know, behind. That, you know,
so how did you get strength then to get into the political arena?
Yes, so then, you know, with all that happened, and, you know, you had to find it in yourself, you know, again, you had to not force it, but, you know, go into your inner self, you know, to bring yourself, you know, out of that, you know, deep place, you know, where the grief, you know, had taken me. And, you know, with God as well, and prayers, and counseling, you know, I must say, because these are some of the things that, you know, we shy away from, and we don't speak about.
Exactly.
But it's okay to grieve. It's okay to seek counseling. It's okay to seek help when you feel that you need it, when you feel that you can't do it on your own. You know, it's okay, you know, to because it's all there, you know, for us to access. But, you know, because of, you know, all the stereotypes and, you know, stigmas attached to all of these things, you know, people suppress the way they feel, and in the end, you know, that it comes out, you know, very badly. So
that's when you have mental illness, when people don't own those emotions and deal with them properly.
Yes. So I've gone through all of that. You know, I'm not just talking about it, but, you know, been there and experienced it and done it. So I can, you know, I am a testimony of all of that. But, you know, the people would look at you, and that was the other thing as well, that, you know, people look at you, and because you bring everybody up, you know, you come across so strong, and, you know, you're the superwoman, you know, that you can do everything, you can fix it, you can fix it, and then you need to fix yourself. Behind the closed doors, you know, you're on your own, you know, you've got your own tears, you know, to deal with, you're afraid for people to see through. So that's another strength, another energy, you know, that drains you, because, you know, you're trying so hard to cover, you know, what you're going through, you know, to bring us up. And then, but you're melting, you're breaking down, because you don't want to show that side, you know, that you're going through. So that's also you know, something
dealing with the issues. That's an important point, because again, as women, and sometimes the medical people say that's why we get fibroids, that's why we get diabetes.
Yes.
Because we keep the pain inside. We stomach it, as they say, we stomach pain rather than bringing it outside of us. So it manifests itself in illnesses.
Illnesses. Yes. I completely agree with that. So after getting into this next step of now being elected councillor, you know, I had to, you know, get on with it, Maria, and just do it. So, you know, gradually the strength came, you know, my what's the word? My feathers, you know, started to grow again, little by little. You know, there were days that I'm thinking, oh, you know, what am I going to do? What am I going to say? But, you know, small steps. And my children as well, you know, were really, you know, good, encouraging me. You know, Mum, you can do this. Mum, you can do it. You know, you can do it. And you know that you can, but, you know, you need to find that person that you can.
Yes.
Sometimes, you know, you're so far removed. It's almost like it's two people, you know, of you, the one who wants to do it and the one who just can't be bothered to do it. So you have to bring them along and put them together, and, you know, finally just say that, you know, here we are, you know, I found myself in politics, you know, I've been elected a councillor, I need to get on with it and, you know, do what I know that I can do and do best. So that's what I did. And just threw myself into work and to keep the mind busy. And, it just flowed. It was almost like, like a natural progression from what I used to do before. And I mean, the only thing was that, that took time as well for me to forget about my caring responsibilities. That was also psychologically embedded in my brain that, I used to remember when to feed mom, and, all of a sudden I have a panic attack that, I haven't been home for so long, and, who was with mom. So, I had all that to deal with in the beginning, and just, continued, find the strength, strengthen myself. Sometimes I talk to myself. I say that to people and just say that I'm not mad, but, sometimes I speak to myself, I encourage myself,
Yes.
To get on. These are all things that help me, to through good days and bad days. If I've had a good day, I tell myself, Maria, well done.
Yes.
You've done
I
fantastic.
have a glass of wine and put my legs up.
Have a wine and put my legs up and put my favorite music on and, cheer myself up. And, the not so good days as well, I pat myself on the back that, look, girl, you did what you could, you did your best, don't put yourself down, don't let this draw you back into depression.
Yeah.
Just get on with it, as my mum would say. So, I got on with work as deputy mayor, as you may, have researched, threw myself so much into trying to make a change, because I've worked with the communities of Luton from the grassroots, and I knew what was needed, to get to the people and try to make that change, from all the experiences and my journey and where I've come from, to make a change, to do something. It wasn't just about titles anymore. I didn't feel that, I was there, to be a model, I was there, as a role model, to inspire other people.
Yeah.
It was to do the work that needed
do
to
the
be.
work, yes.
So that was what I threw myself in, and I, did a lot of work as deputy mayor. I hosted an older person's day, had afternoon tea. I thought spoil the older people a little bit, and I think that was. I also think that was, trying. Thinking about my mum as well. What she would have felt. I'm sure she would have enjoyed having afternoon tea in the town hall.
Yeah.
So made a fuss.
I think I was there on that day. I think I came.
Yes. There were some carers there as well who came, and they loved it. They really loved it. I can't wait for us to do the next one next year, hopefully, when we, finally, emerge from the pandemic and into normality. It'll be something that I would love, to do again. And so I did that, and then we celebrated International Women's Day as well. And I launched the Luton Women's Network as well, at that event, and a few other things as well. I organized for Black History Month. I organized the first Black Business Forum. That we invited, local businesses. We called it Luton and Beyond. So it was bringing businesses out of Luton into Luton, to network and see what could emerge from all of that, and that was quite successful. And I also initiated a deputy mayor's appreciation awards for the local businesses in Luton. That some felt that they've been sidelined and not acknowledged, to give them a morale, to boost their morale and encourage them as well, because they all form part of the local economy for Luton, and it was good to bring them together, to fuss over them, that we know you're here, and we recognize and we appreciate your services to the community. So that was also very very much welcomed. I heard that one certificate that was given to one shopkeeper, he nearly burst into tears.
Oh.
Yes, that he had been here in Luton for over 30 years and nobody had acknowledged him, as a Black business, that nobody had ever acknowledged him. So, you know, it was very much needed. So these are some of the...
I read something about a Red Day. What was that about?
Yes. Oh my.
What was that one?
Oh, that's fast forwarding. Yes. So the Wear Red was also a fundraising idea that came to me for this year in February.
So this year.
It was this year because we were on lockdown, and this was taking over, becoming mayor in September in last year, taking over from the previous mayor. So again, that was another big transition, you know, in my life, from becoming, you know, councillor to deputy mayor for 2 years. Because of the pandemic, we were asked to carry on, and then finding myself in the big chair.
Yes.
Less than a year later.
Faith has its way of working things out.
Yes. You know, it was
when I read the story, I'm like, God, see, Faith we just have to take time and be still, and the Lord does his things.
Yeah. And sometimes it's hard to be still, isn't it?
Yeah.
So I don't know how it happened, but I just give thanks to God. And I know Mum's got her hands in there. I always say that. I know she's got her hands. I can see her fingerprints all over that. Came mayor in September. So from then on, obviously, we were in the pandemic, and there wasn't much that could be done by anybody, you know, in terms of fundraising and supporting, you know, my charities as well. So then I had to become creative. And think of, you know, other ideas, other ways that, you know, we could do things online. So the Wear Red idea came on the back of Valentine's.
Okay.
Because red is for Valentine's Day.
Okay.
So, you know, I had a discussion, a brainstorm with my secretary, and thought of what could we do, and also to encourage people. And it wasn't just about raising funds, but, you know, everybody's mental health and well-being was really challenged, you know, especially, you know, with a lockdown after lockdown. And this was, I think, the third lockdown. And yes, so we, you know, there's something that will cheer everybody up, people to, you know, to want to dress up, you know, have fun, and send photos of them in their, you know, wearing their red, and you know, making the donation as well. So yes, so we ran with the idea before Valentine, and yes, I wasn't sure in the beginning, because I didn't want it to backfire, because I mean, I thought that, you know, it was sensitive as well with the pandemic, and being the mayor, you know, you didn't want it to for people to come back and say that she's insensitive.
Yes.
You know, we're in a serious health crisis here, and, you know, she's thinking about
Valentine's.
Wear Red. So, you know, we weren't sure, but, you know, as soon as it went out, you know, everybody you know, got excited about it, much to all our amazement in the office. And you know, the photos kept coming in, and the donations, and, you know, it was so overwhelming, but, you know, it was a happy time as well. You know, something else, you know, to think.
I mean, we needed to show love and care and concern for each other. Not necessarily romantic love, but community love.
For one another. Love for one another, and, you know, I think that's one thing that the pandemic brought, and I pray that it stays with every family and every person, in our community, in town, and all over the world, really, that, you know, the priorities did change. The shift in our priorities, you know, that to care more, to show love and kindness to one another, you know, bringing families together even stronger than before, because, you know, there was more family time, more bonding time, and, you know, communities came together, neighbors were more kinder, you know, to people, because, you know, life had slowed down and given us time to think, you know, about our life really and our priorities.
Mm.
That was something, you know, for me, that was personally positive, you know, came from the pandemic, that it renewed that community spirit and belonging, because everybody showed care, everybody showed love, you know, and kindness, you know, to the homeless, sharing food, you know, people were, you know, donating food, were out, you know, almost every other day giving out food, people were donating. Yeah, it was really, really a lot of love shown in what I saw in this town, and I'm sure it's the same for, you know, the other towns. Yeah, so yeah, we did the very red, and it went very well, and I ended up Rachel Hopkins MP for Luton South got mentioned me in the Houses of Parliament.
Oh wow!
About the fundraising campaign. So I was honored and had a message from the leader of the House of Commons.
Oh, fantastic.
About that mention, and he wanted to have, you know, an audience with me like you have. So that's what happened, and I had an interview with him. We spoke about.
Oh, that's nice.
Yes, about 20 minutes, and yeah, he also, you know, wanted to know more about, you know, where the idea came from, and thought it was really, really a good thing, you know, that happened, you know, to think about others and putting smiles on people's faces.
Yes,
in such a critical time that we had, and that was also very important. Yeah, so that went viral, that interview, and yeah, but since then we raised a good sum of money, exceeded our target, yeah, and here we are, you know, trying to plan the next one. So this is where I am so far, still continue on with my mayoral duties, very difficult in the circumstances that we are. You know, you can't, you know, do a lot of the things that, you know, would normally, you know, happen. I'm sure this interview would have been face to face.
I know. In the office, either in your office or in my office.
I know. If it wasn't for the pandemic, you know,
dear.
We'll be sitting together, you know, having tea, and then having a conversation as well. But here we are. So yeah, I'm still doing my best. Still doing my best to fundraise.
But that's why we're doing the interviews as well, because we feel the need for people to have that sort of encouragement, something to really get them to see that, you know, get up and do something with yourself, because a lot of people have maybe lost their jobs or lost loved ones, and it's been quite a challenging time. You know, people have I'm single, so I don't know, but people have gotten divorced, they've said, or separated because being indoors with each other. You know, so there's need for women to be encouraged and supported. So you are doing something wonderful by doing that interview, because this message today is so deep. And I think, I mean, I'm touched by it, and I'm saying, one of the things that I'm going to take away is, what can I do for other carers as well? People who have more common in history, because you really touched me then and say, well, we have come through it and come out of it. And I know my blessings now. I honestly believe it. It's because of that time that I devoted full-heartedly to my mom. Full-heartedly. So it's a powerful story that others can use to draw strength on, and which is what we hope that series will do.
That is so true. And you know, I mean, you have my, you know, support there. If there is anything that, you know, you would like us to do, you know, that I am 100%, you know, up for it, because I believe, you know, that it's a big sacrifice. It's a big sacrifice that comes with rewards, but you know, it's not easy.
No. And at the time you're going through it, you don't see or feel the reward. It will come after. It comes long after.
No, you don't. You know, it's a big love sacrifice. You know, especially caring for your, you know, caring for your loved ones. And I remember a few years later, I think I was in my second year after looking after mum, did I realize that there was carer's allowance. I didn't know that I could, claim, for that. And even then I thought, why? I felt bad.
I know.
I feel bad that why would I want to get money, for that? Even though, for the work that you do, that money is a token.
But we don't have that in the Caribbean,
Yes,
so I had no allowance.
yeah. So, I felt so bad, about it, and I kept putting it off. Remember the one of the ladies from the social said, you could claim it. There's nothing wrong with that, Maria. And I said, yeah, thank you. I will. And I kept putting it off, putting it off and putting it off, until I got to the point that, I needed that help.
Yeah.
And then turn around to do it. So there's so many, the carers, out there that deserve, they are heroes. They are the unsung heroes. The unsung heroes. So I'll be happy to support you.
And that's something I will go away thinking about, because it's really one maybe of the positive things that can come out of that series. You're my second interview, and already I can see some fruits can come out of the series.
Yeah.
We can say that we had that during the pandemic, and out of that, speaking to these powerful women, this is what came out of it. So this is your idea, Maria. So I'm not going to own it. I will give credit where it's due.
We need to celebrate them.
Yes. I mean, I'm really pleased that you could share your story with us, and we know that, I mean, your year is going to be a very significant year because of the difficulties that we all had to face through this year, and you were the one holding the fort during that time. So that in itself is an accomplishment. That in itself is a real great accomplishment to see.
Thank you.
That through such challenging times, you can keep the city the key to the city, as they say.
Keep the city, I know. It was very daunting.
Yeah, because Luton is a challenging town to manage. We all know that.
Yeah.
You have our support, you have our love, and I'm
really thank you so much. I need it. Yes, I need it.
So to have a sister in that chair.
I don't get to sit on it very often.
Well, I know because of the circumstances.
Because of the circumstances, yes. But
how long is the term? How long is the term?
Yeah, it's a year, but because I took over like halfway from the previous mayor, this is not really like my term, but that I had to I had to step in. So so that's worked out differently. But for that's not the time that I have. I'm doing my best to make a good impact.
Can you go up for re-election? Because
I can. I can. I can. In the future, maybe not immediately, but I can.
Also, you can do a second term back to back.
No.
Oh, okay. I didn't know that.
Yes. Yeah.
So I thought the mayor of Luton had 2 terms back to back.
That was the pandemic, wasn't it? That was because of the pandemic. Remember, the elections would have been last year.
No. I'm talking about normal mayor officers in your office. Can you have a second term?
You can, but it's not continuous. You can, you can. Yeah, you can't come back as mayor. So that's what I was explaining, that because this was not my full term, and almost like covering.
Yes. So in your case, you can.
Yes, I can. Yes.
That would be good for us to work towards that. Getting you re-elected for your own.
We will work towards that when the time comes.
For your own term. It's good to have some humor in between the conversation.
Yes.
No, but I mean, honestly, we do support the work that you're doing, and we're very proud of your contribution to the town, and we're all here to support. And I just really want to say thank you again for taking the time to share your story, because it's such a powerful story, a story that I myself have learned from just speaking to you. And following your journey, as you know, that
Thank
we have
you.
crossed a lot in the work that we do. And I am positive that this interview will be heartwarming to a lot of other
I hope so.
aspiring Black and people of color, women of color, and not just the women, but the families that we support and the mains, our sons, our brothers, our uncles that are connected to us, because we're all connected. And if the
Yes.
women are not strong, the families crumble. We know that.
Yes.
People say that the father can walk away, but if the woman walks away, the family really crumbles.
That's
So,
very true. That's very true. That's very true.
Grown to take up that role and keeping the fort together. And my mother did it for us. So I'm speaking from experience. Every time I think of who I am today in a foreign country, the life that I live, the role that I have, the offices that I serve on, I just thank my mother because my family background wasn't one of privilege.
Yes.
So I
Yes.
know it's her keeping us together and making sure we had a very strong education. That was
Yes.
one of the things she valued.
Yes.
All had to have a good education, and I can see the fruits of that today.
Yes.
Bearing the fruit in the life that I enjoy now. So thank you again for such a fantastic interview, and I will talk to you, and hopefully we shall have tea in face soon. We shall go to meet for tea.
Yes, yes. Thank you so much. I'm honored to be here. And it's good, sharing, the journey, and then, finding out that, we have so much in common as well, through the experience and our journeys as well. But they are good journeys because it tells the story, and I pray that it inspires other women and anybody who listens to it as well, that we are where we are because we paid the sacrifice. We gave the sacrifice, and this is the reward. And like you,
they can do it too.
Yes, they can do it too. They can surely do it too. And to give every woman that confidence that yes, that we come through so many challenges, marriage breakups, relationship, children, all of that, and women of color, Black women, that we come through a tough time, but I believe that we are built for that, and we have it in us. If we dig deep, to come over and cross to the other side. It's good breaking, as we say, to break through the ceiling.
Yes.
But, one person is not enough.
No.
You need more, to follow through. Yes. And that's the message, that I want to carry forward, to inspire everyone that we all need to break through that ceiling, and come through. It's not just one person. It's for everybody. So when one does it, then, I want to be looking down and pulling all the others up as well, empowering each other in the times that we're in, to look up and build better. Yeah. Because we are capable of that.
Yeah.
So thank you so much. And I look forward to having tea with you somewhere.
Very soon, very soon.
Thank you.
We have to get the green light from our Prime Minister. Then we'll
yes, of course. We pray that it comes quite soon.
Yeah.
Families can be together again.
Thank you very much.
Thank you
very much.
Thank you so much. Thank you,
Madam Mayor.
Thank you, Doctor.
Okay then, thank you very much. And I'll speak to you soon.
We'll speak soon.
Okay then.
Bye
for now.
Bye-bye.